Good afternoon. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder TV, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. And I have an audience of one. Somebody's watching me over there. Yeah, give me the steely eyes. Anyway, people. So welcome to the evening slot show on Wednesday. Bump day for you, Wednesday for myself, or maybe for Ralph. I don't know. I'm not sure. But we've got some transfer news, but also we're going to be starting the show with some sad news. But before we get into the intros, we'll probably see you on the other side of this music intro. Yes, indeed. Welcome back again to Cannon Fodder TV, the channel for Arsenal fans, literally all over this world. Ralph, good evening. How have you been? How are you? And you know what? He's frozen. They're giving us a side profile. He's frozen. I mean, we don't do the look yet, Ralph. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, okay. I thought, what's he doing, man? We're not there yet, Ralph. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. No, we're not there yet.
Okay, so we're not there yet.
There's a fly in the ceiling, man.
I keep looking. If I look up, it's like I'm looking up at you.
I'm looking at you, man. Anyway, how are you? You all right, Ralph? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm just doing bits and pieces. I'm trying to get everything done for the next couple of days as well. So yeah, all guns blazing from this end. So yeah.
Good. So we are streaming simultaneously on Cannon Fodder TV as well as Guna Matters. So click the like button for Cannon Fodder TV, but go over and click the subscribe button for Guna Matters, please. I have forgotten to put the link in because it's been crazy 2 hours over here in the world of a Mr. Cannon Fodder TV. But Mr. Fodder, yeah. So
Mr. Fodder, yeah.
Mr. Fodder. So the button for us somewhere down next to Ralph's left-hand armpit and his armpit, and subscribe to Guna Matters. But like I said before the bump, we're going to start this. You sent me with some sad news actually, just coming up within the last couple of hours, at least that I've heard of. Ex-Chelsea and Arsenal player John Hollins passes away at the age of 76. And his son Chris pays a tribute to his father. A midfielder of a latter of fullback, actually. John Hollins played for Chelsea, Arsenal, and Queen's Park Rangers. And actually, I remember him playing for Queen's Park Rangers, not so much for Arsenal. During his career, and also made a single cap for England national team. Former Chelsea and Arsenal star John Hollins has died at the age of 76. Now, Hollins represented the Blues twice during a 26-year career in which he also made more than 100 appearances for both Arsenal and Queen's Park Rangers. The midfielder, who later played as a fullback, made a single appearance for England and national team before going on to manage Chelsea for 3 years, as well as a number of other lower league teams across Britain. Now, we did do a video, a player profile, a segment for John Hollins, and actually when he signed for Arsenal, I think a lot of the hierarchy at Arsenal thought, well, actually, he's probably past his best, but it was proven wrong, actually. So I'm sure Ralph would join me in just saying we give our condolences to the Hollins family. Ralph, any words you want to say on that?
Yeah, no, just everything that you say is correct. I vaguely remember John Hollins. I remember him more, I think, towards the Chelsea end. But I knew he was a good player. I'm sure he did like a couple of like commercials as well. I always see his face about, and he seemed like a real kind of. It seemed like to be, really few. There's very few that you can call a gentleman. He seemed to be like people that always have time for people. You know what I mean? And there's not many of those kind of like stars about that have actually time for people. So he seemed to be a real kind of like gentleman from what I remember.
Yeah. And may his soul rest in peace. And I'm sure everyone watching now, you can join us in passing our condolences to his family. Anyhow, so here's some transfer news for you. So Moses Caicedo, this one's going to run and run and run until we do or do not sign him. Moses Caicedo transfer fear derailed as Arsenal, Man United, and Chelsea do battle. I imagine Arsenal will get into a bidding war. I mean, as of today, the transfer window has opened, but Moses Caicedo is on the transfer wish list of Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United, and Brighton are resigned to the fact that the Ecuadorian international will leave this summer. Now, Brighton, his teammate Purvis Stupenya knows of the departure is most likely outcome and has admitted that Brighton will miss his qualities next season. He went on to say, I think that having a player of Moses' category, that many teams would like to have him. We will fear that he will leave us, he told the Ecuadorian TV channel ESPN Argentina. He did go on to say that, as I have always said to him, if he stays, I will be very happy to play by his side, to continue enjoying his football. But if he leaves, I would wish him all the best, whether he is whether he goes to Chelsea or Man United or maybe, I don't know, Arsenal. But yeah, Ralph, any thoughts on this saga with Moises Caicedo?
We never ever get things, done over the line straight away like Liverpool or anyone else, do we? There's always got to be a bit of like added drama. I suppose that's not really the right word, but yeah, it just tends to just drag, doesn't it? And then we end up not being linked to him at all. We end up buying somebody else. So yeah, I'm not really surprised, to be honest. It's like I said before, I used to say, oh, I'm sure we're going to get him, and then get disappointed. So my kind of stance on it for the time being is not to be surprised. Be surprised when it happens.
Well, if it does happen, Arsenal will have to dish out £70 million for midfielder.
Yeah, do we have that kind of like money in the coffers, so to speak, in order to release him? And are we still going to go for Declan Rice? I've been hearing that the prices, of course, have been inflated, and not surprised at what they're asking for. I mean, if you've got a player that you don't want to let go, of course you're going to do whatever it takes in order to inflate the prices. And look at Pepe. We got suckered on that one. 90 mil. Was it 90 or
72 million for
72 million, and he's back in the fold now. So are we going to get our money back from that? No. I don't think we're even going to get even half. If you remember, Alex, when we had this conversation, not last season, the season before, you were saying, I don't think he's even worth 35. And I don't think we're going to get that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, big holes in our pockets. And I think we have to potentially sell off those players that we want to move on to try and stabilize some spending. And if we need to get a player to the fee where we have to act the release fee, we need to have that money in first. So yeah, it's gonna continue to drag, I believe.
Yeah, Ralph. So £70 million for Moses Caicedo, £100 million for Declan Rice. But yesterday's show, I spoke about Declan Rice doesn't literally get my juices flowing. I'm thinking, well, even for £100 million, I'm thinking, surely there should be some other players. But the question is, Ralph, in your mind, how much money do you think Arsenal should be spending in this transfer window? Forget about the players. How much money would you be happy with hearing that Arsenal have spent in this transfer window?
Well, if you remember, Alex, I did say 200 plus. To me, 200 plus is the start. That's the start. It's not to go back and think, okay, so maybe if you're looking at the market, maybe 5 or even I say 10 years ago, that amount of money. When you think about when we got Czech and Ozil, I think we paid, was it about 50 or 60 million for Ozil?
Just short of 50 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
49.
and that was what, about 7 years ago
Oh, it's longer than that. That's like
or 10? I don't think it's 10, is it?
10 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 2012 we got him.
Right. Okay. So and we thought that was like the key sign marking, didn't we? With that amount of money. Look at inflation. Inflation has gone up and up and up, and so has players' wages, so has players' subscriptions, and all kind of endorsement deals and everything as well.
Hmm.
So to me, 200 plus, to me, it's a starting point. Now,
Hmm.
I did hear a win on another channel that I think the Cronkies are happy, aren't they? Because is it the Denver Nuggets?
I think so. I think so.
One of their teams have won the championship. So does that mean that money from that sport is going to filter itself into us, so to speak?
No,
Right.
no.
So there
Sorry.
we go. So there we go. So for me, 200 million is the starting point. I don't think that we are in the same class when it comes to our bidding for players like Chelsea or City. You know what I mean? Because they got money coming out their ears, and whenever I know we joked about it a couple of times, but whenever we go in for a player, they feel that they can do that because the opposition, they feel they can do that because they've got the money to back it up.
Mm,
We
yeah.
we don't. I don't think historically we ever had the money to back it up. We've always gone for the younger talent and maybe one or two unknowns, as I mentioned, like when we were talking with Gunnar Matters last week. So I think that's the kind of like model. I know that in the chat as well. In the chat last time that there was quite a lot of notifications about, well, the Arsenal setup is just that way. It's not it's not flexible. And you also
Mm,
allude to it as well about having scouts. We got rid of scouts during the pandemic. We got rid of what, about 50 scouts, was it?
yeah.
50 or 100 scouts.
Yeah.
And so what we're meant to do, we're meant to see someone on YouTube or hope that who we pick is going to be the right fit. You got to do the groundwork. So
Mm,
unless we've got money coming out of our ears, like the two teams I mentioned, to me it's more like trying to go back to see, which is not a bad thing. It's going back to see who actually can fit the role, and are they hungry enough wanting to prove a point. I think that's the
mm,
only kind of thing that we can do, because we're not going to outbid Chelsea, we're not going to outbid City. So we have to start thinking about who can we get that's potentially Premiership ready. I know there's been lots of talk about younger players, but actually we've got younger players, and we end up like having to leave, let them go to our rivals or let them go because we this model that we invested in hasn't really
hasn't worked. It hasn't
hasn't
worked.
worked. It really
Yeah.
hasn't worked.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, Ralph, I said on the yesterday's show, again, looking at the Declan Rice potential signing, I know there's been some talk about there's been agreements, and for me, that's still rumors until the player has signed a contract. But he just doesn't float my boat. I mean, I understand, yeah, his price has been inflated because he's won the. Let me get this right: the Europa Conference League final. So yeah, he's a cup winner, isn't he? But
Yeah.
I'd far rather go for other targets like was it Amrabat, who played in the Moroccan World Cup, who plays for Fiorentina, more robust. Is he? I think he's probably a little bit, maybe a year older than Declan Rice.
Mm.
It wouldn't cost, I mean, maybe 40, maximum 40 million pounds.
Mm.
But yeah, looking at a Declan Rice signing, bro, I'm thinking,
You're underwhelmed.
I'm very, very underwhelmed. Moses Caicedo, it's the talk of the town, isn't it? The how do you say it? The flavor of the month.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
people are talking about it, we have to try and get invigorated. I don't feel invigorated about these two potential signings, Ralph.
How
I
about going for Mbappe? because now he's not going. He's not really. He's not signing, is he? He's not signed. He's not continuous contract with PSG.
I like him as a player, young, still young, very, very young. But I just get the impression I don't think Mikel Arteta will be able to manage a profile player like that. And if we were to have him, I just get the impression that he might upset the apple cart, Ralph. I just, for me, well, you want him. Would you want Mbappe, Ralph? Yes.
he like is a goal scorer and he works. I'm looking at what he does on the pitch. You know, he gets the ball from deep and he has that fear factor.
Yeah.
To me, that's what I said. We're always needing this team. We need to have someone when they get the ball, they run at the opposition rather than playing sideways, and he'll do that. If you're talking about clash of personalities, that's why that's what a manager does, isn't it? He's got to manage. He's got to manage those players. Look at again. I have to go at our rivals. If you look at Fergie had a whole team load of personalities, and if he got hold of one, then he wasn't short. The team wasn't short or wasn't bereft of other talents coming in. Pep Guardiola, what you pulled up as well the other day, I was looking at it and I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't get onto it with you.
What's that?
With Pep, my man was sat there. You can see all the team you can see Grealish. Grealish there 2 seasons now, won the Premiership, and now he's won FA Cup and he's won the Champions League.
Yeah,
he's looking at he's looking and he's thinking, you know what, you guys are happy now, but you're not safe.
Exactly.
And never ever trust the manager who's not trust. Don't say trust. My man didn't even run on the pitch when they won. I mean, he walked on the pitch. You know what I mean? It's like he was expected. He's cold, man. He may smile, but I'm sure when he smiles, it's like hearing Darth Vader breathe. You know what I mean? There's a coldness, and I think that's what you need as a manager as well. Ferguson's like the hothead. He hothead, but he kind of like how can I put it? Ferguson is a hothead, but he mind games a lot with the referees and the other managers. Wenger was like I'm the new guy on the block. I'm going to show you how we do things. But then his model got outdated and upgraded more than him. Pep Guardiola, to me, he's you know what? I'm successful now, but I want to move a few players out because things are still not right. You know what I mean? And they've won everything. Whereas every other team, they've won everything. And then you notice, I don't want to put up Carl's team too much, but if you notice with Liverpool, when Liverpool won the Champions League, it wasn't they glad that they won it, but they wanted the Premiership. You know what I mean? And then when they won the Premiership, it was like, right, that's where we are now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
But again, you look at Grealish, who was a big fish in a small pond in Aston Villa, and I think he joined Aston Villa when he was age 7 or 8. So he spent the longest time in Aston Villa. And there's Pep saying, you know what, young man, come with me, and I'll take you places. So in 2 seasons, he's won the Premier League back-to-back, Ralph.
Yeah.
He's won the Champions League. He's won the FA Cup. I'm thinking, is he worth £100 million?
I think he is.
He is, isn't he, Ralph?
I think he is. Because that's another thing that winds me up a little bit. If you want to put a tackle in, you can't put a tackle in because you put a tackle in and he goes down in the right areas.
Exactly.
Where they know they can hurt you. You know what I mean? And he's a flair player because he can get in and out of tackles and challenges, and he can put a really good ball in. But then if you're going to foul him, you're fouling him at your cost. And don't worry, he'll rub his leg, but he'll smile as well. He'll wind you up because he's done his job. But I would have thought that Greece was worth 100 mil. But now he's in that successful team. He's worth it. Whether you want to pay it or not is another thing.
Exactly. Right. We need to get on. There's actually two more segments that we need to get on with, and the latest again, some hot news for me. Ah, my goodness, Kai Havertz. Arsenal allegedly or apparently are interested in Chelsea attacker and German international this summer. Arsenal apparently have made an initial inquiry about German forward Kai Havertz. Chelsea signed Havertz from Bayer Leverkusen in 2020 in a deal worth £75 million, Ralph. Incredible. Now, Havertz has still 2 years left on his current contract, and if he doesn't sign a new deal, Chelsea are aware this window would represent the optimum time to maximise his transfer fee. Now, Chelsea signed, like I said, him in 2020 in a deal worth £75 million. Ralph, another Chelsea player. Another Chelsea player, Ralph.
So we're Chelsea retirement home now, are we?
Oh, dearie me.
Chelsea retirement home or Chelsea upgrade or whatever. I don't know, Alex. I'm done. I'm really done when it comes to like getting. You don't hear. I mean, all right. So we had two players from Man City last season, and they push as far as we can. We've had Chelsea players for the longest time, and I said this last time that we spoke as well. Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, and Man City. We've given them the best in terms of young talent. We've given them the best, and then when it comes to us, we get. I mean, he may be, you know, a really good player. I've got no real bone to axe to grind with the guy. You know, he may have it in him to. I mean, does he really want to come to Arsenal? That's one of the things that I always ask first. You know, don't come to us if you're for a payday or if you think you're just going to like glide in and not do the work. We've had that from players, you know, as far back as I can remember. You know, I don't like the idea of us, you know, like we're going begging. That's what I said again. You know, we're chasing after Declan Rice with a begging bowl, and this was we was meant to be. To me, all the business should have been done in January. It's not
Yeah.
done in January, then
Yeah.
just keep it out of the boardroom, as it were, or keep it under lock and key with maybe two or three of you saying, right, this is our intention. We're going to go for Declan Rice, but everybody else just say we're looking at getting Caicedo, or we're getting Grealish, or we're getting there's that brother I like in Brighton, who plays on the left wing.
Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute.
You get to it. Yeah, but just to be mischievous, because that's what you need. Like Mourinho and Fergie, they were like mischievous when they were going for players. But the difference between them and us is that they got them. You know what I mean? They got them. We speculate and we speculate and we speculate, and if it comes around, then it kind of drops off. It's like, oh, okay, well, we finally got him then. And here we are, we're in pre-season. Or here we are, we're going to start our first match.
Karol Mitoma.
Yeah. He's a wicked player. Why not just say to Brian, no, you know what, we quite like Mitoma. Of course, they're going to say, hang a minute now, I thought you're after Caicedo. Here's 70 mil, take it or leave it. But what that does, it distracts everybody from thinking, well, that's your intention. In the meantime, you've got your subgroup saying, right, this is what we're going to go for. We're going to go for these three players. We've got deficiencies in central defence. We've got deficiencies in central midfield. We've got deficiencies potentially right side midfield. We've got deficiencies up front. Let's address those four areas. Let's get four key players. If out of your four players, you want at least two, maybe three, that's Premiership driven, Premiership proven, as it were. You know, you can allow maybe one to get themselves, acquainted with the pace of the Premiership and bed themselves into a team. But the other three, I feel 2 or 3 for definite have to be Premiership proven.
Yeah. Well said. And actual fact, people, these have been the new segments currently running on this Bump Day show on Canon 4 TV. So what we are going to do, actually, before we go into the live chat, there was a poll that we did yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday. Let's just have a look and see where we stand on that poll there. And the poll question was, who signs first? Who signs first a new contract and who signs the contract extension? There's a bit of a clue there for you. So the protagonists are Moses Caicedo, Declan Rice, or William Saliba contract extension. And we've had 1,000 votes. Guys, thank you for that. 25 thumbs up, and there's been 5 comments, which leads me to believe I've not responded to 1 comment there. But these are how the numbers have fallen so far. So 12% of you believe that Moses Caicedo is going to sign his contract first. 34% of the votes have gone to William Saliba sign his contract extension first. And still out in front, it's Declan Rice on 54% of the votes. You deluded lot. Anyway. Right.
Not castigating our viewers or subscribers. Just get that poll now. That's a waste of time. And one other thing, Alex, before we go into if the poll suggests that Declan Rice is going to be like the first to sign the full contract potentially, how much? Because if it's anything over 80 or 90 mil, if he goes in for 100 mil, then I think we've definitely lost our minds here.
Well, the news is, Ralph, it's going to be 95, and add-ons will make it 100 million pounds.
Well, so, I tell you what, he's got to come in and win the Premiership with us then.
No, Ralph, he's got to come in and walk on water, man.
I'm not sure if Rice is good with water.
Oh, very good, Ralph, man. Very good. Well, listen, guys, let me get into the live chat. So, guys, come into the live chat. It's somewhere across the way over there. I can't reach it. Come in there. Let us know your thoughts about Kai Havertz. Moses Caicedo at £70 million. Can we get that deal done? And still, Declan Rice out in front of £1 million. Not for me, man. But pay the money. Pay the money. Anyway,
let's get Willian. Let's get Willian, and let's get any other ex, Chelsea players back into the team again. Then. Yeah,
maybe not. Anyway, Ashley D, he says, "Hey up, Gooners." Ralph's wingman is in the house.
Hey, Ashley D.
Ralph is doing his crime watch photo pose.
Watch.
Wow. And he's wingman, Ralph.
Yeah, well, you know what? He does keep me on my toes, man. So, right, so I better wear a mask or something then, because he don't. Dude.
Oh dear. Danny Garcia, good evening to you, or good afternoon. Come on, Edu, stop messing about and sign my fellow Ecuadorian Moses Caicedo, the player with the biggest project in the South America. Oh, I didn't know that, actually. Once a Gooner, always a Gooner, regards from Ecuador. Well, Danny, I'll give you the live chat so far. Well done there. I hope you have subscribed, Danny Garcia. Danny, we're watching you. I know where you live. Actually, no, I don't. On a donkey. Good evening. Bye. 200 million plus. Listen to your brother, Alex.
Hey, let me say, Alex is an old man. So
anyway. Who's that? Mario, good evening to you as well, fella. I hope you're keeping well. Danny goes on to say, There's a guy much better than Moises Caicedo for the Ecuador national team. Same age, he plays in MLS. His name is Jose Fisfuentes. Did we not feature him? No, probably not. Probably not. We should try and buy him. Also, Piero in Sapi from Leverkusen. Well, Danny, here's a question for you. So, Jose, how much do you think Jose would cost us if we were going to go for him? I think probably a little bit less than Moises Caicedo. And Piero, what about him? How much do you think he'll cost Arsenal? I'm just saying, if anyone's looking in that direction, South America. Don't know, man. Don't know. Who else do we have here? We've got Ashley. Ashley, how you doing, fella? Hope you're keeping well.
Hello, Callum.
And Ashley, the other Ashley, says apparently Arsenal have made a proposal for Havertz. Well, I will make a proposal that we do not go for Kai Havertz.
Yeah, I second it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. Emerson is in the house. He says a question for you both. What are your views on Havertz linked to us? Well, I've said I'm not interested in Kai Havertz.
No.
You know, Ralph, I've always said this. Listen, first of all, guys, also do your own homework. Just because we say it doesn't mean that it's true. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is, I never chose a player. Not for me, man. Not for me. Not for me. Sorry. And also, it's just rumors. It's only speculation. So until you see the player sign the contract or hold the jersey of Arsenal, even though I'm a little bit, you know, doubtful about that, it's all speculation and rumors up until that point. Ralph, do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, I was going to say, so how many Chelsea players that we've had in the team that's helped us win the Premiership? If they're as good as they are, how many of them coming to the Arsenal team, if they're meant to be as good as they are and to help us get to the next stage to actually win the Premiership, how many of them have gotten us to win the Premiership? I mean, you know, that's quite self-explanatory and quite easy to read.
Yeah. Mario says, Ralph, look, guys, it doesn't matter what we pay for Rice. It's not our money. It is our money. I know it's not our money. It's not our money. We just want to improve our team. But I'm just thinking, Mario, surely there are other targets. They're a lot cheaper, more robust, maybe not necessarily play, you know, in the Premier League. You know, Amrabat, I said about Amrabat, I would have him. I know he plays for Fiorentina. But again, looking at the deal, Declan Rice just doesn't excite me. But that's just me. It's just me. In regards to the money, Ralph, is it our money, Ralph?
Well, well, maybe it's not our money. It's coming out straight. It's coming out straight out of Kroenke's war chest, as it were. If you look at all his franchises that he has, and don't forget that he's married to, I believe, the Havertz, who owns Walmart as well.
Walmart. Yeah.
So money is of no, what's what I'm looking for? It's sort of no consequence, really. Okay, just on another flip side, if you look at Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, I'm trying to see who else. I was going to say a Chelsea manager, but they've had so many managers. But if you look at just those two for the time being, whenever they've gone in for a player, have they paid the going rate for a player? Because I'm pretty certain that with Liverpool, and we spoke about this before, when they sold one of their players, they end up getting Van Dijk, but they got the goalkeeper as well. I think Van Dijk went. They got Van Dijk in. What was it, about 70 mil?
I think so.
So just look at that as an example. Liverpool went in, paid 70 mil for Van Dijk, central defender, and a goalkeeper, and they won the Premiership, and they also won the Champions League as well.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's not. It's not our money. Of course not. It's not. But I think if it was our money, we'll be very careful who we want to give it to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there've been misgivings before when, again, unfortunately, having to use Pepe as an example, we went in thinking Pepe was the next best thing, and he wasn't. Short on confidence, short on game time.
Yeah.
You don't want. I would imagine as well. He had a lot of pressure on him as well. He had a lot of pressure because that price tag comes with a responsibility that you are the guy, you are the main man who can change things, and he had Aubameyang and Lacazette in front of him, and still,
didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
Yeah. Doyle says Rice is a good signer for Arsenal. Yeah, but I just question at that price. Mario says, me personally, I would prefer Caicedo than Rice, but if we get them both, it makes everything better. Better go for it. Donkey says Rice and Caicedo would bring strength together. I prefer Caicedo, but he did get bullied by Newcastle. Guimaraes and Joe Linton. Yeah, but he can't do it on his own, can he? Can't do it on his own, Caicedo is now linked to Bayern Munich, but it is unlikely he will go there, according to the reporters on Sky Sports Germany. And hey, well done. No to Kai Havertz. We had enough of ex-Chelsea players, and that's my point, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like my brother, when was the last time we brought the leftovers from Chelsea, and it helped us win major trophies? There you
Still waiting.
What does Arteta see in him? In Kai Havertz? I have no idea, man. If it is true. We always go for Chelsea rejects. It's tradition now. And Usman says, hello, how are you? We are fine, thank you. And there's Static. Static's in the house.
Static. Hey, long time.
What's happening, brother? Man? What's happening? He's just saying that facts. Ralph. Sorry, I forgot how to spell your name.
It's fine.
Latter. Alex, the votes need a recount. I'm glad you said it, man. I'm thinking the same thing. Mason Mount, in my opinion, would be a better fit than Havertz.
He's younger, isn't he?
Say again?
He's younger. He's younger than Havertz.
He's younger, yeah. Possibly.
But you see, again, I have to keep on saying this, guys. We can pontificate until the day is over about who that we want, but at the end of the day, the player must want to come to Arsenal. It doesn't work. It doesn't work them just coming in and then they just slide and then when we need them to turn up for a match, they don't turn up. We've seen it so many times. Why don't we get one of the players from maybe even one or two of the lower leagues who are just hungry? They're on the verge of, wants to show that they can actually do what we want them to do. Is to go in hungry, go in and not have play their brand of football, but not have to worry about is the manager going to like lambast me again because out of the 4 shots on goal, three of them were on target because I decided to have a shot outside the box. You know what I mean?
Static says rice and water, LOL. That was Ralph who said that, man.
Oh, I'd say that.
It's a good thing we don't have a player called Water, isn't it, Ralph? They definitely can't play together.
No, they definitely can't play together.
Glenman's in the live chat. He says, good evening, Lee Brothers. And he goes and say, Edu out, man.
Is that Edu out, man, as in he's seen him out or he wants him out? Or...
Ralph, we need a war chest worth £350 million for the players we need.
that's as good a start as any. But again, playing devil's advocate, I'm going to give you 350 mil. I want you to fill the areas that we're deficient in, and I want us to win the Premiership. Do you reckon that is feasible? That's Kroenke talking to Arteta. Arteta's going to have to say, Arteta can't say no, because the expectations now is we've taken Man City as far as we can because our bench was limited. I'm going to give you 350 mil, clear up the deficiencies in those areas, and my expectation is to win the Premiership and at least get to beyond the qualifying stages of the Champions League, because we know the Champions League is very, as Pep Guardiola said, it's very hard to win, but he's done it now, isn't he? He's done it twice.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We can take Alexis Sanchez back. No, we can't. I do hope with that price tag on Rice's shoulders, he has to go to another level, especially coming from an average club. Look at Grealish going to Man City. Wasn't trusted by Pep until last season. Different manager, though, isn't it? Different manager, different mindset.
I don't know. That is one. It's a really good statement from Lynn. But if you think about it from Pep Guardiola's perspective, I akin him to a guy in the playground who's got all the Panini cards. He knows which one that he needs to swap and which ones will make his collection better. I think with Arteta is, he may highlight one or two players, but he doesn't really know what they're going to bring until game day. And that's the reason why he shouts so much instructions on the sidelines. He's not as I suppose as calculating as Pep, because Pep will he'll be on the sidelines, but then he knows that that's the team's got to get on with it. You know, there may be one or two players that, like I said before, there may be one or two players that will actually question Guardiola's tactics. But with Arsenal, who in the young Arsenal team will say, "Hang on a minute now, boss, your tactics are not working. The team's going to play this way because this team's figured us out already."
Glenwyn says, I think it's wants to how many Chelsea players have come over and helped us. No one. Our players that went the other way made them better. Ralph and I have spoken about it so many times, actually. Bring on James, our European expert. James Rowe, as he will give you a list of players from other European clubs that could be linked to us. And we would not sign any of them, Emerson. And like James says, how is it that he can see it? And doing football writing is not his full-time job. That's not his full-time job. But he's able to analyze and see players across all the leagues in Europe and pinpoint the players that Arsenal should go for. But yet they cannot do it. Anyway, enough talk.
We need to get James in there. James will well, that's another time.
Enough talk, Arsenal. Let's sign the lads. Wait time will cost us a lot. We need squad depth and experienced players to compete well in the Champions League. We've been saying that as well for the longest time. With Caicedo, I feel that Arsenal must have that money from January, because we didn't buy him and they offered 80 million then. Lynn, that's a really, really good point, which leads me to believe that probably we're not even looking to sign Moses Caicedo. And most likely it's going to be all the other clubs I spoke about the day before yesterday who will improve their squad, like your Newcastles, your Man Uniteds, your Liverpools, and maybe to a certain extent your Chelseas. So that means we're not getting Moses Caicedo. But that's a good point, actually, because if we were really serious about signing him, when he made a trip from Brighton to London to force the move, we would have bought him then, but we didn't. Who else do we have here? Mario says big clubs always pay over the odds. Just get their players. Alex and Ralph says Gunnar Matters. And here we go. Right back, left centre, right centre, central defensive midfielder, central attacking midfielder, right wing, left wing, striker, two strikers. Then the names: Amrabat, Lavia, Ward-Prowse. Who's SMS?
That's a text, isn't it?
No, probably Simmons, Cancelo, just to name a few. SMS, who's SMS? I've forgotten. My mind's gone a blank. And he says, and then some. This is you're talking about maybe £400 million. £400 million worth of players there. Sorry, I also meant to say that with Pep, he can afford to sit £100 million. What's that? £100 million? What does it mean? I'm not sure what you mean. Lynn, what do you mean?
Text speak.
Lynn, they're putting all their eggs in the rice basket.
That's not a good basket.
And here's Carl, our resident Liverpool supporter.
Hey, Carl.
Lynn says, sorry, I meant to say that Pep can afford to sit £100 million player on the bench, but Arteta doesn't have that luxury. Then make that luxury, create that luxury. It just didn't land on Pep's lap. He had to create that, didn't he? And we're not short on money, Ralph, are we? We're not short on cash.
We're not short on cash. We're not short on cash, but we are lacking, and we've been lacking for the longest time, is the club owner to have a bit more faith. I mean, I think he's kind of like handballed it to his son, hasn't he? I mean, he's still in coffers, but he's handballed it to his son. And I'm sure his son must say, look, if everybody else, if we're going to go with the model of Man City, for example, look what they've done. They highlighted 2, maybe 3 players for their running, and one of their deficiencies was up front. So they've got Mudryk. They've got Haaland. They've got Haaland in to outscore everyone on this side of the planet. A simple fix. It was a simple fix. The rest of the team just was good enough.
Donkey says Caicedo is a must protect the back four. And Carl, jokingly, I'm sure he's joking, we have a £2 player in Gomez on the bench. But Gomez is a Premier League winner, isn't he? He's a Champions League winner as well, isn't he? So you might have to put a few more zeros on that £2.
It'd be 2 million and plus maybe £1.
Yeah. Gunnar Matters, I think probably the last one, who says we have a lot of money. The Nuggets are just one. So you are right, Ralph. Yeah, the NBA. Stan just invested in an £80 million mall. We are not just self-sustainable. Show us the money. Brilliant stuff. People, we're finished. We're finished on this Bump Day show over here on Cannon 4 TV, where we're streaming simultaneously. And for you intelligent lot, that means at the same time, simultaneously. Ralph, any final words before we end this one?
No, just pretty much. We'll see what Arsenal's gonna produce. I'm not gonna lose any sleep to be honest over it. Because life goes on. I did promise that I need to upgrade, so the likes of Emerson and DWT and Ashley can, when they tell me the score, I'm actually in on it when I'm doing a watch along, not behind by about 5 or 10 minutes. But that's just it, really. It's beautiful here. I'm sure it's beautiful everywhere else as well. Guys, you know what? Take it from Alex and myself. Do not get too wrapped into this business, because we have been there before. We have gone in saying, yeah, we're going to get this player, we're going to get that player, and it doesn't happen. And I know that sometimes we're all very, very desperate for the latest news, because from that platform, from this platform, no one's signed yet. People have just discussed options. Nothing is set in stone yet. Until that player comes in, sat next to Edu or Arteta, and smiling with the pen in the hand, and all the photos taken, that will be the most concrete proof that you have that players in. But all the speculation, 'cause I think everyone likes a bit of speculation and to try and tinker. That's not a bad thing, but don't get too hooked up on it, because if you get disappointed, we've still got the season to come. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's just my take on it. But I wish you a really, really good evening, and thanks very much, Alex, for having us.
Nice one. So we're going to end this show again on a sad note. The part of John Hollins, who played for Chelsea, Arsenal, Queen's Park Rangers, and also managed Chelsea for 3 seasons, passed away at age 76. This has been canon for the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.